Gonna do this one more time, hopefully in one take, because I cut my head off on the last video. What is going on, YouTube world? This is KRtlyfe, KRtlyfe with the Y. Like, subscribe, comment, all that cool stuff. Gonna be a quick video today. Hopefully, knock on wood, I'm going to be changing the gear oil on my 2007 997 coming up right now. Okay, so I'm changing the gear oil on my 2007 gear oil on my 2007 997. It is going to be wintertime coming up here soon and colder temperatures. And I've noticed last winter that when my car is cold, shifting through first and second is a little bit notchy. It's not as smooth as I feel like it should be. And from all the research and reading that I've done, gear oil is the way to resolve that. I went with the OEM Porsche, whatever you want to say it, gear oil at $33 a liter. Very, very expensive stuff. And I'm going to use my jacks and my jack stands to get my car up level and use my pump the oil back in once I drain it out. And I figure while I have the car up there, I'm gonna go ahead and swap my wheels out and go from my aftermarket BBS knockoffs back to the OEM lobster claws. So here we go. And just like that, you have a floating 997. So the way that I did was, I jacked it up from here first. I came right over here to the suspension cross member, and I put my handy dandy super low profile jack up under there and jacked it up in the center, and then put the two back jack stands up. So now you can see I have a floating 997, and now it's time to move on to the next phase, which is removing that little panel right there so I can get to the actual gearbox and change out the fluid. Fun times. So here I lie under the business end of my 997, and I'm about to pull this panel down, and I'm going to use a what is this? I can barely read it. T25 Torx bit and my handy dandy little mini impact. Okay, so I'm changing the gear oil on my 2007 gear oil on my 2007 997. It is going to be wintertime coming up here soon and colder temperatures. And I've noticed last winter that when my car is cold, shifting through first and second is a little bit notchy. It's not as smooth as I feel like it should be. And from all the research and reading that I've done, gear oil is the way to resolve that. I went with the OEM Porsche, whatever you want to say it, gear oil at $33 a liter. Very, very expensive stuff. And I'm going to use my jacks and my jack stands to get my car up level and use my pump the oil back in once I drain it out. And I figure while I have the car up there, I'm gonna go ahead and swap my wheels out and go from my aftermarket BBS knockoffs back to the OEM lobster claws. So here we go. That's one screw down. Two screws. And I'm gonna bring y'all up here with me so you can see what I'm doing in a second. In fact, I'll bring y'all right now. How about that? Okay, so this is what we're doing. Turn the light on. All right, so now you're under the 997 with me. And these are the screws that are coming out. That one right there. And on this side, it's gonna be that one and that one. I know it's probably hard to visualize this close up, but I guess if I come back, you can see that this is the engine, and then over here is the gearbox. And this is the area that we're gonna be working in today. So I had to try to get this on camera real quick. Just for those who don't believe, what does that say? Made in Japan. A Japanese transmission on a German vehicle. All right, so I showed y'all that the engine is made in Japan. I mean, not the engine, the transmission is made in Japan. Isn't that interesting? So anyway, now we're about to drain and refill this gearbox. So you don't want to use this one right here. You want to use that one. Am I showing it to you? There you go. Okay, can you see it right here? That is your fuel port. So you want to open that first just to make sure that you can get fluid back in. Then you want to come down here and open your drain port. And then, yeah, fill it back up with 2.9 liters of fluid. So it should be pretty straightforward. Now I'm going to attempt to open this one right here. Wish me luck. Actually, alrighty kids, so now I'm gonna go ahead and drain the other side. As you can see, I got a little bit of trickle of gearbox fluid coming down right there from the the filling side. So now I'm about to open up the drain side, and I have gloves on now. So yeah, safety first, kids. All right, so here we go. We're gonna be very careful when we open this so we don't make a mess. And then we're going to pop that socket on like so. And we're going to press it. Put some oomph into it like we just did there. All right, that was not too bad. So now we're gonna go ahead and work this back. And yeah, it should come on running out. So I'm trying to do this and get the least amount. Oh God. Well, there we go. There you have it. That's why you wear gloves. All right, so as this finishes draining in the background, I think I'm going to share some thoughts with y'all on this. So my gearbox in the cold was shifting very notchy, yeah, and kind of like funky. Like if you own a 9971, you probably are very, very familiar with this, or not if you have the right gearbox stuff in there. But there are quite a few different gearbox fluids that people put in these cars. There's one that Suncoast sells. There's the one that you get directly from Porsche. I went with the one directly from Porsche this time to try to get rid of this notchiness. And some that, from what I've read on the forums, make your transmission sound even worse and do all even like kind of other weird things. Now, being that my gearbox fluid was extremely clear and looked really fresh and clean, that's a good sign, because that, you know, further tells me what I already knew, that my car had been very well maintained by the previous owners. But it makes me think that they probably might not have put the right gearbox fluid in here. They might have put the, I don't know, one of the ones from Suncoast or something like that. I don't really know what was put in here, but why speculate? Because we don't know. But now we will know that the OEM Porsche recommended German-made gearbox fluid is going into this Japanese transmission, which is kind of funny. But I don't know. If you guys know anything else about this kind of stuff, like, you know, drop some comments down here and let me know what y'all know about the background of this whole thing. Because doing the research on this, there was a lot of people saying all kind of things about it. And I'm going to get from up under here because this stuff does stink a lot. All right, so this is all drained out now. As you can see, I'm going to put that filler plug back in. And then I'm going to use my oil pump to pump the oil back in there. And I'm going to try to use something right here. I'm going to use this NOCO device. This is a jump starter. I don't know if this is a good idea or not, but I'm going to try it anyway. I'm going to use this to power this to pump the oil back in there. Maybe it'll work. I don't know. Let's see. All right, so it's filled up, and as you can see, you just saw that drip of oil. And that drip of oil, that tells you that it is filled up. So now I'm gonna cap it back up before this oil drips everywhere. Man, the position that I have to be in to do this in my garage, this is one of the most difficult vlogs that I've recorded in some time. Anyway, I got the transmission filled back up. I was kind of worried that this 3 quarts over here wasn't going to be enough, but it was just enough. And my NOCO made it almost all the way through. I had the last stretch, I had to switch over to the car's battery to get the final bit of fluid up into the transmission. But the NOCO did 90% of it, so I'm kind of impressed with the little NOCO battery thing. But now I'm going to go ahead and use my handy torque wrench to make sure that both of these are torqued back to 20 foot-pounds of torque. all tight. All right. So now I can get from my butter here. So I went ahead and torqued down the fill and the drain plugs. That's done. All I need to do now is put the screws back in there, hold that electrical lead together to the side of the transmission and engine. And then I need to put the panel back up and then swap my wheels out and go for a drive. So I might just go ahead and drive this thing tomorrow so you guys can so I can get a real assessment of how I think it really works and if it works better than it did before with the new fluid in it. So now it's gonna be a time lapse, I guess. All right, y'all, finally done wrapping this job up, and these are the tools of the trade that I used for today's vlog. So I used the handy dandy Porsche OEM transmission gear oil. Awesome stuff from what I hear. We're gonna go and confirm that later on. A T25 Torx bit that is actually right there. Had to use that to get the rear panel off so I could get access to the two fuel plugs to drain and fill the actual manual transmission. And then I use this right here. This is a 15-16 socket in lieu of a 24mm socket to actually open said drain plugs. So you're gonna need that and a torque wrench like this to put the sockets back in. I mean, not sockets back in, but put the plugs back in. So that's handy to have. I use my 3/8 drive ratchet with the 10mm socket on it to take off those the screws that are connecting the negative lead on the electrical system. It's kind of in the way of that fill socket, or fill plug rather, but it's not necessary to take it off to get it off. But I did it because I just don't like doing all the extra fidgeting. I use my impact tool right there. That thing is great and handy to have. It makes quick work of things like taking off panels on the bottom of a car. And of course, you're gonna need a jack. And jack stands over there, and that's really all you need. All right, so this is day 2 of me driving around with the new gear fluid in my gearbox, and I'm trying to make sure that it's not like a placebo effect, you know what I'm saying, that is skewing my perception of what my gearbox is doing. But it does feel like it's substantially different, so I'm gonna drive around one more time today, and hopefully I can have some type of general consensus of what I believe my transmission feels like. But I will say it definitely feels better, comma, definitely feels different for sure. All right, so just got off the highway. It's pretty good. I'm actually very surprised at how smooth my 19s run, man. I haven't run them in quite some time since I actually got the car. And they've been just pretty much sitting in storage, and I put them on the other day, and wow, these 19s, they run really, really, really nice. I think I might keep these lobster claws on here for a while, even though I'm not really a lobster claw fan. But the transmission seems to be shifting just fine and dandy now. I mean, the car is pretty warm, even though my commute is very short. I just went into first, super buttery smooth just then. Second, super buttery smooth as well. I just go in third just for the hell of it. Third is always good though. Third is my favorite gear on any 996 or 997. Those that own one, y'all know what I'm talking about. Let's see, I'm about to downshift that down to second because this car is turning in front of me. That was nice. Not bad. Yeah, it shifts really good once it heats up. So I think that's the main difference. If I had to quantify it in this video right here, to me the main difference is that this fluid seems to heat up faster and therefore give you smoother shifts quicker than the other fluid that I had in previously. And right now, today's a cold day. Today is it was 46 degrees Fahrenheit out this morning, which is pretty darn cold for Atlanta. And yeah, it's just pretty darn good. But when I had the when I had the other fluid in, that would take a substantial amount of time for it to heat up properly and get me to the point where it would shift really smooth. Like I would have to like drive for sometimes like literally like 30-40 minutes to get that fluid to heat up. This fluid, on the other hand, it's like, you know, 2 minutes of driving and your car is shifting good. So I think that's the main difference, and I guess that's how I'm going to summarize this video and end this video. This is krtlyfe with the Y. Like, subscribe, comment, all that cool stuff. Hopefully this helps you chase some, you know, better feeling transmission shifts in your 996 or 997. And yeah, like I just went in the first just then. Perfect. That's how it's supposed to be. All right, y'all, I'm out. Peace. Yep, that was good.